Yeah, it's CC, CEO. Wanna change your life? Come see me, yo. I'ma teach you how to build up wealth for your family, not just for yourself. I'm a bestseller, a house flipper, a businesswoman, a go-getter, a big investor, a goal builder that could teach you to get richer like millions, baby. You really about to fill your savings. You about to have multiple streams to pass to your children, baby. Let me teach you to get your credit on track in the long run. You'll make it all back at Catalyst and watch it all psychology black on firm, but we ain't all black.
What's up, everybody? Happy Friday. It's your girl, Constance Carter. I know y'all been waiting, and I've been waiting to talk to y'all. It's Friday. I done had some coffee and I done had my water. I got my shoulders out and I'm ready to talk to you. All right? So listen, it's Friday and there's been so much happening this week. But before we get started, I want to tell you that you are watching Fly Nubian Queen Network. And I'm Constance. And so every time I come live, I want you to get notified because I want you to talk back to me and talk black to me. So make sure you text my name to 87948. If you have not received a text when I come live, you probably will receive one. If you just coming over from Dr. Boyce's broadcast, welcome. My sis Athena was on there today dropping them bombs. I was on there just like, yo, she is killing it. She's fire. So text Constance to 87948. Text Constance to 87948. Okay. Also, you know I love to shout you out. So I want to know where you're watching from. I know we have people that watch from all over the world. So where are you shouting? Where you at? What's up, AG? Happy Friday. I see some comments that was on here before we became live because y'all already want to talk about what we're talking about. So where are you watching from? I want to know that. That's number one. So put it in the comments. Number two, this is about us. This is about building our community. So if you have a product or a service, I want to make sure that you put it in the comments because I want to shout you out if you're a business owner. Even if you're watching this broadcast after it's live, I still want to put you in the, I still want you to put your product, your service, or your business in the comments because I want people to be able to get access to you. Because the only way we're going to be insulated from everything that's going on in this country is if we work together, is if we practice collective economics. Y'all know during Black Wall Street, our dollar circulated 1 year before it left our community. 1 whole year. There's not any other community that circulates a dollar, even the most close-knit communities. Let me tell you something. The Jews are less than 1% of the population, but they have 50% of the wealth, and they only circulate their dollar 30 days before it leaves the community. And they say we don't go nowhere else before we look internally here. They said we're not looking outside. We don't do business with nobody else other than ourselves first. So they say J1, just like we say B1, they say J1, Jews first. So they're looking at themselves. 30 days, white 20 days, Asians 20 days, white 70 days, Hispanic 11 days, black people 6 hours. We're changing the dynamic because they didn't fucked around and gave us the internet. So now that we have the internet, we have access to resources and people that we've never had access to in the past. So now we can get back to practicing collective economics. So I want you to put in the comments, if you have a product or a service, put it in the comments because I want to be able to shout you out. Okay. Also, please share this information with everybody that you know. Because I believe that we always want to give you information that affects you, that is that's viable. People need to hear this information. The only way that we are going to get to the other side, that we're not going to be at 0% median net worth. The only way we're not going to be that is if we each one teach one. So share this. Whatever broadcast you're on, I'm broadcasting from about 7 or 8 different platforms. Whichever podcast, whatever platform you are, make sure you share this with your friends, with your family, because they need to hear what it is that we're saying. Also, make sure you subscribe to Fly Nubian Queen channel. I am Constance Carter. You can find me everywhere. I am Constance Carter. Make sure you follow me. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you share. All right. I just want to get that housekeeping. Now I want to shout you out. I see people from Indianapolis and Pennsylvania and all these. So while we shouting you out, I want to bring on my co-host, my sis, my good sis. Y'all, we've been at this all week this week. And so I'm so happy to have her because I love dialoguing with her. She's so smart. She's so brilliant. And she just happens to be the producer. We doing shoulders today? Are we doing shoulders?
Good
Okay.
morning.
Okay. What's up, sis?
I tried to get in the gym with my shoulders out today, giving y'all a little shoulder.
What's up with the gym?
I came to grow my money, grow your money. That's what I came to do. I came to get in the
Okay.
gym.
Okay. So today, it's so much going on in the world with Black people, and I always want to make sure we give them a shout out. So, does anybody have a job, a business, a product, or a service? Nobody in the comments. I don't see anybody. But if you're on here anytime during this broadcast, I want to make sure you put your information in the chat. We also have Miss Black Hollywood. We have a special guest today.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Okay.
I'm looking forward to this engaging conversation because I think it's really important for us to all understand what the entire feezy is going on. But let me just give you a little rundown, okay? Okay, so we're gonna talk about a few different things. All right. So
Mm-hmm.
they're trying to give Donald Trump a third term. Y'all, Republicans are proposing that they get his motherfucker a third, a one, two, what, three, a third term. As if we are not already in the twilight zone. A third term. And then we're going to talk about Trump pardoning the police officers that killed Karan Hilton Brown, that's right here in DC, and how that compares to the pardoning of the January 6th rioters. And then we're also going to take a look at the EEO, the equal employment opportunity, because I want you to really understand what that means. Because when they talk about DEI and these DEI hires and they act like it's discrimination against white men and it really isn't, why this had to be instituted, what really does equity and inclusion mean for communities today? And lastly, we're going to break down what it means to be a DEI, who was accused of being DEIs, because I want you to see this. This is funny. Who was accused of being a DEI, and I want to actually show you who was actually really DEIs, Tiara.
Yeah.
But let me ask you, what do you think of like our first week in the
Listen,
Twilight Zone?
the devil has been busy this week. I'm
Yeah.
talking about um it's almost like every day he came in. I was like, he ain't out of ink yet. It's Friday. Like he just got here and he ain't out of ink yet. He just been signing them, baby. He came in and was like, I'm executive ordering myself through this pregnancy. I don't care. This pregnancy, this presidency. I don't care what y'all say. He ain't listening. He don't care. He partnering people, talking in circles. Whenever there's I saw him in a press conference, and they were asking him about all the decisions that he was making. It's like he just talks in circles. He never answers the questions. I almost feel like he's gonna get up and be like, you know what, like he was at the town hall. You know what, who wants to answer questions? Let's dance. Like I feel like it's gonna be I just feel like that's the way he's gonna address us moving forward, because he doesn't give a about whatever we feel, whatever we're talking about. He has an agenda, and this is possibly his last term. So I feel like he's gonna go hard before he goes home.
Yo, the
Yeah, he's
fact that
going
this man
hard,
is
y'all.
78 years old. When he finishes, he'll be 82, and they're talking about giving him a third term. And so if he goes into his third term, he'll be 82, and then he'll be done by the time he's 86.
He won't live that long. I hope.
I don't understand how he's still around right
I
now.
mean, because right now I see signs of dementia. I don't know if you see it, but like Donald Trump used to be a lot sharper. So I think you know this about me, but I worked on, I want to say the second or third season of Apprentice. And I was just a transcriber. I wasn't a producer yet. I was kind of getting my chops at Mark Burnett. And I saw that he was an actor. I saw he wasn't that bright. Um, he was a little sharper than he is now, like in terms of just putting thoughts together. And but I understood then he was like a master marketer. He understood how to get people going. He knew what was provocative. And I just see that same thing today. Like I don't see a man who, after that, as a matter of fact, after that experience, I didn't see him as the genius, because he has this reputation. He's had this reputation for being this astute businessman and brilliant, and all of that. But I saw afterwards, I was like, oh, he's an actor.
This
He's an
man managed
actor.
to con his way from business to the presidency. But
Yes.
don't make no mistake about it. He's not running the country. So he could have all, they might prop his ass up, just barely even coherent at one point. He's not making any decisions anyway. Like, he's not the person who's all them executive orders. First of all, the DEI executive order, that was Elon Musk's. Like, all of these executive orders he's doing has nothing to do with him or anything that he wants to do. He's basically a puppet. He's just,
Yeah.
he is being fed not by his desire to run the country, but it's just all his ego. It's all about and
That's
his
it.
power that he's getting by virtue of being in this seat has nothing to do with him running the country.
No.
But it's everybody else who has the agenda, who is using him because they know that he's a person that people love, that people will worship, that they can get things because he's so stupid, they can get things done by his dumb ass because he's just signing anything. Remember, I'm gonna always quote this. Octavia Butler. What did she say? She said, choose your leaders with wisdom and forethought. To be coward is to be controlled by all that the coward fears, but to be led by a fool is to be led by the opportunists who control the fool. If that ain't the realest motherfucking shit that you didn't see, because this is what we are being led by a fool, by an opportunist by a fool who's controlled by opportunists.
Yes. I mean, right. He surrounded himself by 13 billionaires, right? Mm-hmm. There's 13 billionaires in his cabinet or just circulating in his orbit, feeding him things to do. And like you said, propping up his ego. And, and so he's just carrying out. I mean, at this point, if you notice, Elon doesn't care what he says. He going to do a Roman salute. He going to whatever, because he's bought the presidency. Why do I keep saying pregnancy? Yeah, I know. Lord, you might be pregnant, Constance.
He motherfucker look pregnant.
You might be pregnant. Maybe it's a sign.
Oh no, I'm sterile. That's for you young chicks.
No, no, but I do. You know what's so interesting? Let me ask you. This came to me yesterday. He has a coin. I'm talking about everything has happened this week.
He got a shoe too.
He got a coin, y'all. Did y'all? Are you gonna buy something?
Oh, a Bitcoin. That is so against the law. That is so illegal. That's illegal. He's not supposed to be profiting off of his job as the president of the United States. That's illegal. Wait. While we talking about that, let's bring the We Wealth Warrior on here because I know she knows. She knows. Yes.
How are you guys?
Hey,
girl.
Athena.
Listen, we was watching you on Dr. Boyce's show a minute ago. She was on there bringing that heat, baby.
Okay, clearly.
But look, he got his own coin.
Yes. He got his own coin.
That's illegal. You're not supposed to. One of the laws is that you're not supposed to profit in your position. And I don't know the exact verbiage, but it is against the law to profit in your position as an officer of the United States. So Congress, they're not supposed to be. What do you call that? Insider trading. They do a lot of insider trading. The president, like, they're not supposed to be profiting from their position in office, but all of them are. But the fact that this man, he said, "Fuck your laws." I got me a motherfucking coin.
I'm lawless. Listen, I was gonna buy a couple just cause. You know what? Because his ego is just so like, can I make some money and then like take that and invest it in something else? Because it was $7 at first, and now it's like 36 or 38 or something like that.
Mm-hmm. But so you see what the thinking is. I'm just gonna do what I want and then write the law how I want it to allow me to do what I want.
Yeah. That shit cray. We got to put that Niggas in Paris song on. That shit cray. That should be every time we talk about Trump, we should have a soundbite. That shit cray. Because it's the Twilight Zone. But I want to shift gears, you guys, and I want to talk about this. What does this third term look like? So a Republican, who was that Republican? Andy Ogles of Tennessee. He said Trump has proven himself to be the only figure in modern history capable of reversing our nation's decay and restoring America to greatness, and he must be given the time necessary to accomplish that goal. It is imperative that we provide Trump with every resource necessary to correct the disastrous country set by the Biden administration.
I just want to know what Kool-Aid what this Kool-Aid tastes like. Like, what is it taste? I just don't understand how everybody is. I mean, I guess it's just feeding their pockets. I
Right.
mean, because I just don't get it. I don't
Right.
understand the Kool-Aid that's being drank right now.
It's crazy because when you think about the people, you know that Trump supporters, they're like Mountain Dew drinking, incest, inbred, just that's the type of people that they are. And so, yeah, of course, they're stupid. They low IQs, no teeth,
Lord
probably,
Jesus,
300 pounds.
honey.
I'm just saying. So we know those types of people are already going to be, whatever he says, they're going to follow it. But then the people who are in office,
Yes.
they're supposed to have some sort of intellect.
Yeah. I think money is
Listen, the people in office, listen. Didn't Barack Obama come out with a saying the other day that was making rounds on Instagram saying that you think all these people are highly intelligent, but they're not. And you get in a room with them and you realize some of the world's leaders are like dumb as a box of rockets. So clearly Trump's presidency has shown whether or not you like Trump or not, right? Whether or not you like him or not, it has shown what America values. And America values Trump. It didn't value Kamala. It didn't, because if it did, the vote would have went that way, right? So America is a country based off of capitalism, white domination, all of those things. So that is the way that this country is on. So they don't care about your feelings, what is fair.
They said, "Fuck your feelings."
Basically, I'm gonna come in and have the biggest hand cramp this week and sign 100 executive orders and get the stuff that I want and put people in place that paid me money or helped me on my campaign and push the agenda that I want to push.
Yeah,
and y'all is gonna have to take it.
Fuck your feelings.
That is the sentiment of what America has voted in.
Yeah.
He already told us he cheated. Elon is good with those computers. You said that's I just can't believe that is the temperature of America. I just don't necessarily believe that, but I think we are being, kind of coerced into believing that it's a Trump America. I don't believe that.
Mm-hmm.
So what happened? So didn't he get convicted? So like, what's happening with that? Is he still like, or is he gonna?
He can pardon himself at this point.
That's what I'm saying. I was like, he's just gonna pardon himself.
He's never going to jail. It was life or death at this point. Like, if he wouldn't have become president, think about that. This man with power, his ego is way too big. He had to win, y'all.
He had to. By any means necessary. Yep.
He had to win. If it was about like allowing Elon to do something with the computers, as he said in a speech, I mean, he had to do that.
Yeah.
So I'm just gonna always believe he won all the swing states. I think I say that every day. He won every swing state. Come on. All right.
But it's so blatant. This is what I don't understand, you guys, is the fact that everything is so blatant. And it's just like these Democrats are just sitting around like a bunch of pussies and nobody's doing nothing. Or maybe they are in the back rooms planning something. I don't know. But it's just like when Joe Biden left, he was like, well, I wanted to do this, but I just didn't want to step on it. They don't want to step on nobody's toes. Then what's funny is I hear Charlamagne and I think Angela Rye talking about, well, it's kind of hard, blaming Snoop for performing at the crypto ball because you see Obama was talking to him that's different. Obama sitting next to him and speaking to him at a funeral is different than him getting up and shucking and jiving at his inauguration. That's not the same. So I hate when they try to put out that narrative, but I think they're doing it to protect their friends. Snoop is a friend, so they're trying to give him a pass. But you get no pass because you go out there and which one of you jigaboo ass niggas gonna perform for Trump? And then 4 years later,
jigaboo. I haven't heard that word in so long.
Then he's shucking and jiving
on the ones and twos.
Right. So, but I hate that they're trying to say, well, Obama was talking to him. You think, first of all, Obama has class. You think he's going to sit up there and sit next to this man, but you see Bush walked right past his ass. He patted Obama on the stomach. What's up, partner? And sat his ass down. He didn't say shit to Trump. And I can respect that, but the fact that they're trying to, make that make that similarity, it's not the same. And so somebody said fake news, presidents can only serve 2 terms, but there is a Republican proposing an amendment to allow him to have 2 terms.
And
So
does Tiana not understand that we're living in a time where
anything
what
goes.
anything is going? Like, I don't know, sis, if you notice, like, it's a lot going on right now where people are throwing things out and adding things, and they want this man to be a dictator, obviously.
Whatever
Or
fuck
the
you.
puppet, like you said, Constance, being the puppet. They can control him. His ego is big enough. It works.
This
He's
man
a
don't know what.
showman.
He
Now
don't
the
know what's
time.
going on. He has no
Mm-mm.
clue what's going on, but he just knows he has power, and everybody likes me, and I got big crowds, and I'm doing the best that ever has been done, and everything is very, very, very big, and everything is very, very, very good, and everything. That's all that this man cares about. He don't give a fuck about none of them laws that he's putting in place. He don't give a fuck about dismantling the United States. He just wants to know, I'm better than you. I won. That's a textbook narcissist.
Mm.
That's it. That's it.
So does narcissists rule this country? Is that basically? Do you have to be a narcissist to get ahead? Because it just seems like everyone who's ruling the country are narcissistic.
I mean, you got to be pretty like ego driven. You do got to be pretty ego driven and really about yourself first if you want to be in that position, right?
Yeah.
But also, just like you said, Tiara, about making your own laws. So, okay, so we know that, and we talked about it yesterday. We talked about him pardoning the January 6th, right? So the crimes that these people committed, they committed physical assaults. Many officers were attacked physically by the rioters. This included being punched, kicked, and struck with objects like flagpoles, fire extinguishers, and even pieces of broken furniture. These officers suffered trauma and lacerations, cuts, bruises, head trauma due to being struck by various objects. They were exposed to chemicals. Some of them were sprayed with chemicals like pepper spray and bear spray, leading to respiratory issues, eye irritation, and other discomfort. At least one officer got a concussion. Capitol Police Officer Brian Sicknick died after sustaining injuries during the attack. It was later reported that he had been hit in the head with a fire extinguisher. He later collapsed at the Capitol and died from his injuries the following day. The officer suffered severe beatings and injured, and some had to be hospitalized with serious injuries. Michael Fanone, that's the one that we showed yesterday, for example, was dragged into the crowd, beaten with the flagpole, and shocked with a stun gun. And they were pardoned. Every last one of those thugs were pardoned. And then let's go to the brother. So this young man, they just pardoned the police officers. Donald Trump just pardoned the police officers that murdered this young man. What had happened was this boy, he was riding in a moped without a helmet. So the police pursue him. He's riding down on the sidewalk without a helmet. They're like, we had high speed. It was a high speed chase. Well, mopeds only go between 25 and 40 miles an hour. That's the maximum a moped could go, right? So the police chase him. They chase him into the alley. And then by the police chasing him, he had no regard for this boy's life. Another car struck him. You know what the police did? He left the scene. He didn't render aid. He turned his body cam off. He ran over evidence, and he lied, and he covered it up, and his boss covered it up. And he said that the boy was drunk. He filed a false police report. And guess what? He was pardoned. What does that say? I mean, we already know what it says, but I mean, what are your thoughts about the stark disparities in how Trump is rendering the stroke of the pen to allow some people to do some things, and other people to do other things?
You want to start with this, Athena? You're muted.
You're muted, baby.
Let me bring my mic up for this. Trump is gonna do what he want to do, right? Regardless, and with with this shift, right? Because we were worried about Project 2025 and all of this, and we were, screaming from the rooftops about the possible repercussions of certain things. He was never like that person. He was never gonna go to jail because he was white. When you are white and rich, okay, that is like the holy grail. That is like you are king of the world. That was never gonna happen to him in the place. He's white and he's rich. He has the money and he has the influence. He does
Yeah.
not care about what
Mm.
regular people think. He cares about what he says that he does when he's doing these campaigns, but he's really cares about money and business. And that is why I need y'all to care about money and business as well, because no one is caring. They're caring about their bottom line, and that is what we need to do too. What I will say about a Trump presidency, besides all the shenanigans, is it's going to be a really good time to try to make some money. It's going to be a prime environment to focus on business, to focus on AI, to focus on the thing. Basically, what they focusing on, that's what is going to be a good time to focus on too.
That's
Yeah.
true. That's true.
I think the promise, he made the promise, right? Project 2025, which he was very connected to initially, but because they got so much backlash, he separated himself from that agenda and put up some other like fake news on his site, like, no, we're gonna focus on this, on these things. And people felt, I don't know, people were like, okay, see, he wasn't connected to Project 2025. Project 2025 clearly states that they will give police immunity. And so I think that is, or he's been saying he wants to give police immunity and give them more power. And again, that same press release, he was like, I'm very good with the police. The police are very good with me. I love the police. I'm friends with the police. Like he was just going on and on and on about that. So I think that when we have those same police that are already in the good old boys club, abusive patrolling our neighborhoods, we really just have to think about maybe putting some organizing, putting some systems in place that will keep our citizens protected in the Black community. If we have police officers coming into our communities patrolling and saying that they're protecting and serving, but we see that they're not. We see that they'll leave us for dead, allow somebody to they could have called the ambulance for this poor boy. I didn't hear his story, so it really just like kind of like hit me this morning when as you were explaining, Constance. I never heard that. But I mean, but there's stories like that. I mean, there's thousands of stories like that, right? So I just think we have to just get a little bit more serious. Like Athena was saying, a little bit more serious about what we're gonna do. Black people, what are we gonna do?
I love that you guys said that, because if you look at this, and of course, from the inception of this country, there's always been a double standard when it comes to justice for African Americans.
Yeah.
Always, there's never been any justice for us in the way that there's been justice for everybody else. And it's so funny because the police officer said yesterday, remember we were on and we were listening to his interview, and he said, the justice system has gone down the drain now that Trump. No, the justice system has never been justice for us. So, but this is right in your face, and Republicans and conservatives will look away anyway, because whatever they can do to justify their agenda. But this in the same week, right? He didn't even give it no. He didn't let it breathe. In the same
Yeah.
week that he let 1,500 people go for assaulting police officers, one died, and
Yeah.
I'm a friend of the police. I love the police. And then they said, well, you allowed this man to go free. Well, was it a commutation or was it a pardon? It was a pardon.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, other people get pardoned from other murderers out there.
And some murderers aren't even being charged. Like he
Yeah.
just went in a circle. And what are you even talking about? What? And
And
y'all just
then you have the same week, this Black boy is murdered. They cover it up. And then wait. Let me tell you the quote that Trump said. This is what Trump said about the police officers, y'all. They were arrested, put in jail for 5 years because they went after an illegal. And I guess something happened when something went wrong, and they arrested the two officers and they put them in jail for going after a criminal. He was not a criminal. He was a 20-year-old kid, and he was an American citizen. He's from DC.
on a moped riding down the street.
So this is the kind of shit that gets my blood boiling. But I just pray, like, this is, like, at what point do we wake up, Black people? At what point do we wake up and say, listen, they ain't gonna do nothing for us. These, not a Democrat or Republican. The Democrats couldn't even do shit for themselves. They couldn't even save themselves. They let alone ain't trying to save y'all Black asses. And that's the thing that I just need us to understand. That's why it's so important that we mobilize as people.
That's it.
Mm-hmm.
But you know what? Every time we try to mobilize, it's not like, it's crazy because the problem is, we've been trying to mobilize. I feel like, and every time, we're cut at the knees in one way or another and distracted by something else. So I would just say, if the Panthers were able to keep what was happening, if the Nation of Islam, like, I'm just thinking the things that we were trying to implement in our communities were able to still stand without interference from the government, or then we would be in a very different place. So I wonder how we mobilize at this point. Like, what is the strategy, y'all, with mobilizing today? What does that look like?
We're gonna talk about it. Let me oh, go ahead.
Oh.
I do want to talk about a solution about mobilization, but I want to talk about a couple of other things first. Did you want to talk about the solution, Athena?
Yeah, I wanted to talk. I mean, you can talk about other things.
Yeah,
let's
talk.
Go ahead. I mean, I'm just curious.
We are,
right?
Oh, trust me. You know how we do. Every time we come, we gotta talk. We gotta wait, what happened?
So I feel like for the solution, right? I feel like the solution is us, clearly, right? I feel like no one's coming to save us. People in office do not care about us. They are very much invested in keeping Black people as a permanent underclass. They're not. I don't think Trump signed one executive order that was specific to Black people and helping us. So y'all tell me if there was an order that was signed that helped us in particular.
Come on, Black Trumps for Trump.
Oh my God!
I mean,
so
he
there was
declassified the files for Martin Luther King.
Wait, what?
He declassified the files for Martin Luther King and Kennedy, which I'm interested in seeing, but I'm not interested in seeing any scandal. I'm not interested in seeing anything that paints him in a negative light. So
I think some of that stuff is actually in that file, actually.
For sure it is.
Yeah.
So I feel like, obviously, whatever, the agenda that has been laid out. See, the one thing I can't respect about white domination is that they plan for a long time and they wait. They wait until they one full court press. They got the House, they got the Senate, they got Trump. They're like, all right, let's get that John Hancock ready. Let's start getting the work done, right? But I think in the midst of all of this, we shouldn't be fearful, because that's why America has other layers of government in place to prevent one person in particular in that office to just do everything. Now, I think they're trying to undo that while they're there. I think they're trying to make it so that the executive office has more power. But even in when we look at the topic of immigration, the birthright citizenship, there were a lot of attorney generals in states that filed to combat that because it's it's unconstitutional. It's within the Constitution. So in the midst of all this, I don't want us all to be afraid, right? Fear is not our friend. Right now, we need to be courageous and have bravery in the midst of the fear of everything that is going on with this political landscape, especially when it comes to Trump. What I want us to do is to focus on the things that we always should have been focused on, which is our money in our pockets, because we live in America, okay? Money talks, right? And the reason why we're not getting certain things done is because we don't have the money to fund certain things. The reason why Trump and Elon and all of them are in that office is because people, they themselves, or people who support them, cut a check. Okay. And like Dr. George Fraser says, at the end of the day, somebody got to cut a check. Okay. So we need to be able to fund our own groups, fund our own PACs, fund our own lobbyists, fund our own society, because they do not care.
Yeah. And that's the thing. That's the thing is, we were able to come together and raise how many millions for Kamala in 24 hours. And so, yeah, we do. I I want to continue the conversation. We're talking about all the things that's been going on this week. Republicans are proposing a third term for Donald Trump. They want to put an amendment in place. We talked about what Donald Trump has done this week in terms of pardoning certain people for certain things. And we're also going to talk about this whole idea of what is really DEI and who are the DEI hires? Who are the real DEI? I want to unpack that. But before we do, I want to let you guys know you are watching Fly Nubian Money. So every time we come live, I need you to get notified. Okay. So, oh no, this is not the Fly Nubian Money. This is Constance Carter. This is Grow Your Money Podcast. You are watching the Grow. What?
That's a hot shallow boy.
You are watching the Grow Your Money Podcast. It's your girl Constance Carter, my good girlfriend Tiara is my co-host, and we have Athena on here, just chopping it up. Now listen, every time I go live, I want you to get notified. So I want you to text my name, Constance, to 87948. Text Constance to 87948, and listen. I do something called the Net 7 Collective. And if you want to get, if you want more information on the Net 7 Collective, I want you to go to net7bbs.com. But check it out. I want you to hear a little bit more about what these ladies are learning inside the group.
3 or 4 years, I've been praying for a business coach. I knew that a coach, I read many times that all the most successful people have a coach. Coaches have coaches.
I've learned how to purchase land. I've learned how to do overages in real estate. And I even learned some different things with credit, that I've gotten my credit cleaned up with my bankruptcy, that I'm almost in my home stretch. Doing everything right now and applying it.
I finished 2 ebooks. If I could do it, anybody can do it. And started a nonprofit.
Gotten more out of this than I ever anticipated.
Constance has done an amazing job at placing systems to allow us to understand how to prosper in our businesses.
I'm telling you, I would move heaven and earth not to miss one of these sessions.
Yo, so listen, I see some of the ladies in Net 7 Collective in the audience. I appreciate you guys always listening. We got a book that we just wrote, that we just released on the 20th. It's called Unbreakable. So the ladies who go through my program, they become authors. They are speakers. Some of them are doctors, some of them are lawyers, but I've helped them. And the community has helped them increase their net worth by 7 figures. They're out there in the world doing it. And this is for women, Black women all over the country, from 25. We have people from 80, from people who are PhDs, Harvard PhDs, y'all, to me, your girl who got a PhD, a public high school diploma. So ladies from all different walks of life are coming together, because there's an African proverb that says, when you teach a man, you teach an individual, but when you teach a woman, you teach a nation. I love that, because I believe women, we are at the forefront, and we're going to be the ones who actually close the wealth gap. So if you want more information on the Net 7 Collective, go to net7bbs.com. But there was a couple of comments I do want to address, because I seen some shit. Tiara, I need you to help me out with these comments too.
Okay. All right.
Because you didn't even see my little private text yesterday. I said I needed to help you out. Doesn't the Constitution limit a president only 2 terms, which we addressed it? Somebody said that's never going to fly. Fearmonger. When will we stop being scared of every group but our own? What do you think of that, Athena?
I think that, you know what? I think that we are definitely need to come together and focus on what we need to do. We're not fear mongering. I know a lot of people have these sentiments about, I'm a Republican, I'm a Democrat, I'm a this, I'm a that. And if even if you disagree from a party or political perspective, what we're saying is not things that are not happening. You cannot dispute the facts. Republicans are trying to propose a 3rd term for Donald Trump. Trump did sign certain things. Trump has not signed anything that benefits Black people directly. So whether or not you are of any specific political stance, the things we're talking about are things that affect Black people. This is going to be from a Black perspective and a Black focus. We're not fear mongering. The only thing, and we have said that, and I've said this on this podcast, is that now's the time not to be fearful, but to be courageous and brave and focus on the things that we want to do.
Yep. So that's what it is. That's what it is. Somebody said honestly, I forget who that was. He said, honestly, I don't like Trump, but I can respect the fact that he's basically doing whatever he said he was going to do, Tierra. I mean, that's what we can say. Like, I don't agree with shit this man is doing, but one thing I will say is that the Democrats will campaign on all the shit that they going to do for us, and when they get in office, they do absolutely nothing. He campaigned on the shit that he said he was going to do, and he got in the office the first week and did every goddamn thing that he said he was going to do. I can't even be mad at him.
You know, even if you're afraid, right? Why didn't they, just like how Trump signed everything the first week, the last week you in office, why don't you just sign a bunch of stuff too? Why couldn't you just be like, I'm already out here?
They had decorum. We didn't want to offend nobody.
That's-
You already know what this man is capable of doing.
Yeah, there's something that the Democrats have, that they hold on to the old ways of politics. And when you're playing a game with someone who's not playing that same game, you gotta switch up your strategy, right? And so the question was, you can respect everything that he said. He did everything he said he was gonna do. The problem with that is that none of it benefits us. None of it benefits us, and actually it's gonna put us back. So why would we respect that he did something that is, I mean, I'm not, again, not fear mongering, but when, one of the things that we were going to teach in the Fly Nubian Money Club was how to get your certification so you could get federal contracts. You could get in on these $1 billion opportunities. You know what? After this week, you can't. Right. So, like, just thinking about that, like the things that are being swiped from us. I'm not talking about just going into an office and being the Black woman there, the white woman there, the gay man there. That's not, there's levels to this DEI shit that I think we're missing. So, I mean, yeah, respect him all you want. I can't respect the moves he's making because, I mean, it's really, really going to be detrimental to our community. We're going to have to work twice as hard to rebuild. Don't you see? Don't you see?
Yeah, somebody in the comments said that this is going to affect Black wealth for generations to come, and it will. Y'all listen. If I'm in the DC area, so I actually have friends who got these multi-million-dollar government contracts, and they have them because they're certifications. When I moved down here, they were talking about, like, I went to the DC Chamber of Commerce, and they were saying we have $1 billion set aside for Black-owned businesses. That's getting wiped away. In PG County, they were saying we have $8 billion, 40% set aside for Black-owned businesses. They can no longer promote this. Donald Trump said that we're not only removing DEI, but if they try to disguise any efforts to promote equity and inclusion, then they will be fired. Wednesday, tons of people lost their jobs. Now they still have money. They got to decide on what they're going to do with them, because you can't just fire a government employee like that. But Wednesday, tons of people got sent home, and they have nowhere to report to because of equity and inclusion. So let's talk about, what does that really mean? Because the whole reason why DEI and affirmative action was put into place anyway is because of racism. It was a direct response from Lyndon B. Johnson to the systematic racism that existed in the workforce, and it laid the foundation for things like affirmative action and workplace diversity. However, what we're seeing with this rollback in DEI under Trump is these programs were put in place to help ensure that everyone, regardless of their race or their background, had equal opportunity. So here's the things that EEO was supposed to do. It's not even about taking jobs away from white people. They got 70% of the workforce in the public sector. White people have 70% of the employees in the workforce. So we're not taking anything from them. We're only 19% of workers in the public sector. We're only 5% of government contracts. White people still have a lion's share. They have 68% of government contracts. So what EEO was set to do, what he rolled back that Lyndon Johnson put into place, is to eliminate workplace discrimination. Now y'all got free reign, free permission to discriminate against anybody you want to. It was to promote diversity and inclusion. It was to correct systemic inequalities. It was to comply with the Constitution, the 14th Amendment of the Constitution. It was to promote fairness in hiring. It was to provide a legal recourse for victims of discrimination.
Yeah.
It was to foster better business practices. It was to support federal employment and funding requirements. That's what it was. So when they talk about it's racist, and he said it was illegal, DEI is illegal. When I first started in the workforce, I worked at really great companies in the Silicon Valley, which promotes diversity. Because when you have diversity, it builds a stronger culture, community culture. It brings people together. You have lower turnover. It brings harmony. When you teach the differences and how you can work together, did you know that statistically speaking, companies who promote diversity are more profitable than those who don't?
Mm-mm.
So the idea,
yes, and John Hope Bryan talks about that all the time. He says the most successful companies and most successful areas in communities are communities that are diverse, because you're leveraging the intellectual capital of diverse perspective, and all of that you're able to take the best and the brightest out of that diversity to create products and services that have innovation and ingenuity and add overall to the greater capital. So the concept that DEI is not beneficial or diversity is not beneficial is false, because we see that time and time again in different areas of life, in business, in personal, in all kind of areas. So I agree with you on that, Constance.
I mean, totally. And it's disheartening, but it's also blatant. But that's the reason why, we have to have the solution, which we're going to talk about in a little bit, because y'all, white America is not coming to save you, Black people. And that's been proven time after time after time. Listen, the Democrats was never there to save you. All of these affirmative action and all of these policies that were put into place have never helped Black people. We still was the bottom on everything. We still had the lowest employment rate. We still had the lowest wealth rate. We still had the highest unemployment. We still had the lowest credit score. We still had all of those things with DEI and affirmative action. The only way that we could be insulated is one way, and that's to be self-sufficient, and we have to work together within our own selves. That's it. What you say, Tiara?
I see a lot of things. I'm so irritated, y'all, about these comments, right? Like the comments, y'all crazy. Y'all are crazy. And in the sense, and I just mean that in a sense, like in denial, right? Like about what's happening and how it will affect us. People are talking about fear mongering and just like there's not like a reality to what is happening. And like you said, what I know about Black people is that we are resilient, we are creative, we gonna figure out how to turn the tides every single time. So we're gonna be better for this, and I think it's actually a good thing, to be honest. I think it's a good thing. It's gonna force us to just look inward and look at ourselves and say, okay, y'all, they really ain't fucking with us. Well, what are we gonna do? What are we gonna do? Right? Yeah. So well, that's what I'm hoping. Hopefully it doesn't
It will.
Yeah, I think it will too. I think it will too.
Yeah, because I think we have enough.
Not by the comments. The comments is crazy, but
But I think if we continue, Tiara, to have enough of these conversations, I think it will make an impact. That's the reason why we do it, because we talk about it, but we're also talking about solutions. But think about when life was worse for Black people is when we did our best. So the other day I gave 20 neighborhoods and communities that were affluent Black-owned communities that were burned down, bombed, or eminent domain, or urban renewal destroyed the communities. Every time we try to take 2 steps forward, they push us 10 steps backwards. But these are times when it was the hardest for Black people. Red Summer of 1919 was when they were lynching Black people across the nation for no apparent reason. They were taking our land. Y'all, in 1862, so we worked this country for 200 years for free, from 1619 to 1865, free labor. Some slavery, well, slavery hasn't ended, right, with the 13th Amendment, but from 1619 to 1865, they got free labor. So that's 250 years of free labor. Mm-hmm. They don't. So we built their wealth. Oh, let's talk about it. There's actually a video. But then in 1862, they give white people free land just by virtue of being white with the Homestead Act. And real estate is the number one way to build wealth. Let me show you this video because this is so profound. And I've seen this sister before, but this is a great video just to kind of break it down.
You would agree that it's never acceptable.
Not that one. Where'd it go? I didn't upload my video. Hold on a sec. But anyway, to the point is there. Hold on. Let me bring this. Let me bring this video up. Go ahead and talk for me really quick.
I was about to say, while she does that, I just kind of want to look at these, check the comments a little bit.
All right.
Let me look at these comments. Charles,
let's look at these comments. No, but Athena, we're towards the end of the hour, so I'm interested in. Are you ready, cousin?
It's processing. It's coming. It's
processing.
Yeah.
I am interested in knowing, like, I know we keep saying it, but like, what does organizing look like today? If every time we try to put our efforts together, they're destroyed in one way or discriminated against. I feel like if Black people made a concerted effort to get together, people like Elon Musk would be like, see, they're getting together again. We gotta figure out a way to
break them up. How do we break them up?
How do we break them up? I feel like it's still going to be a how do we break them up? Because whatever reason, they just don't like for us to come together. They like for us to feel like we are powerless. So how can we? What does that look like? Do we use the internet?
Let me show y'all this video first.
Now, if I right now decided that I wanted to play Monopoly with you, and for 400 rounds of playing Monopoly, I didn't allow you to have any money, I didn't allow you to have anything on the board, I didn't allow for you to have anything, and then we played another 50 rounds of Monopoly, and everything that you gained and you earned while you were playing that round of Monopoly was taken from you. That was Tulsa, that was Rosewood. Those are places where we built Black economic wealth, where we were self-sufficient, where we owned our stores, where we owned our property, and they burned them to the ground. So that's 450 years. So for 400 rounds of Monopoly, you don't get to play at all. Not only do you not get to play, you have to play on the behalf of the person that you're playing against. You have to play and make money and earn wealth for them, and then you have to turn it over to them. So then for 50 years, you finally get a little bit and you're allowed to play. And every time that they don't like the way that you're playing, or that you're catching up, or that you're doing something to be self-sufficient, they burn your game. They burn your cards. They burn your Monopoly money. And then finally at the release and the onset of that, they allow you to play and they say, okay, now you catch up. Now at this point, the only way you're going to catch up in the game is if the person shares the wealth, correct? But what if every time you share the wealth, then there's psychological warfare against you to say, oh, you're an equal opportunity hire. So if I played 400 rounds of Monopoly with you and I had to play and give you every dime that I made, and then for 50 years, every time that I played, if you didn't like what I did, you got to burn it like they did in Tulsa and like they did in Rosewood, how can you win? How can you win?
Visit shop.mrwelltraveled.com or click the link in the bio to get the book. Every day is Juneteenth.
I need your comments.
Listen, the sister was speaking truth and facts, and that is a situation that Black people have had to face, especially in this country, for over several years. We've had definitely a lot of situations where we have tried to galvanize ourselves, we have tried to organize ourselves, and those from a systematic oppression standpoint, and we have been set back and have not given the opportunities every time we've tried. And in the meantime, in between time, this whole time, we have also been the labor that this country has benefited from for its infrastructure that it currently has, but also for the businesses and society as a whole. We are the bottom of that pyramid holding everything up. So that is just a reality that I have to face. And I spoke on Dr. Boyce's podcast this morning that what we have to do is scale that pyramid. We have to galvanize our efforts to scale that pyramid to reach to the top. but it's going to take us even more so because there are these forces that are just trying not to make that easy for us to do. And the only way we can have the strength and the willpower to do that is if we adopt a certain mindset that will enable us to do that work, to even make the attempt, just to even make the attempt. Because as you know, Constance, as you know, Tiara, as you try to advance in society, as you try to run your own businesses, there is a lot of obstacle and failure that you may take one step forward and then two step back. But it has to be your commitment to doing that climb in the first place, regardless of what it face or how many detours you have to take. That's going to end up putting you in a position where you need to be, or else you're committing to staying at the bottom of that pyramid.
Boom. What'd you think of that video?
I can't remember the number. I was looking to see, was it 500 years? How long does it take? Okay. So I was looking at how long it actually takes, how many generations it actually takes for us to build wealth, right? To close that gap in our families, in our lifetime. And I just think it's so much pressure on us. Like, we're here, like, we're going to close the wealth gap in our family, right? Like, we're going to be the ones to do it, to make millions of dollars, to close that gap. And it's so stressful. It's so stressful to think like, okay, we have to literally sacrifice our lives if we want the generations, moving forward, to have everything that they need to operate, and so I just think that we just have to really start. I mean, we talk about unity all the time, but it is time to unify. That's the only thing. Start wealth groups with your family members. Start to talk to your children about wealth building and doing things with them from a young age. I mean, that's the only thing that I can think of. Is like, Black people don't want to work together. People don't want to, I love the idea of like the Asian there's actually a Mexican family that lives across from me, and like there's like 20 of them in there, but everybody has like paid for each other to go to school. They make money at the family business. They bring it home and they just like put money together. Everybody like, okay, now it's time for Athena to go to school. Now it's time for Constance to go to school and graduate. Tierra, like there's a long game. But if we had to do that in situations where Black people have to do that, we don't even want to live with our family members because of the trauma and the drama. It's like, oh, I don't want him to live with me because he's still, just all the things.
They use my toilet paper. Didn't nobody replace the toilet paper.
Yes, somebody get, we just have so many just have so many barriers and obstacles, like, personal, interpersonal, all of them. And so I think that, between therapy and just working together and just putting down those, if y'all can respect what Donald Trump does, right? Because somebody just said that I respect him doing what he say he gonna do. That means that you have the emotional intelligence to put down your opinions or your emotional feelings and work towards, and see what he's doing. Do that in your own families, with your own family members. Like, get together, put your emotions aside and work.
Yeah. When you're talking about the Hispanic family that lives by you, it reminded me of Berry Gordy. The way Berry Gordy was able to build Motown was because all of them, his family, they put their money in a pot. And every time somebody wanted to buy a house or start a business, they would take the money out of the pot and they would invest. It's kind of like a susu, or it's kind of like, what a lot of these Asians do. I remember I'm from San Jose, so Asians and Hispanics were all over. We were definitely a minority, but they would be 20 deep in a house. Yep. And our ass was over there like, shit, this nigga used my toilet paper and, now I got to kill his ass. Now I got to shoot him. You know what I mean? So we have to think about, like you said, Tiara, the long game.
The long game.
We've been, we have just been there's been this psychological warfare against us that we, yes. It has to get out of our DNA, out of our blood. But a lot of people, and I think the recurring theme is unity. The recurring thing is unity. You're talking about unity. People in the comments are talking about unity. And J. Edgar Hoover said in 1955, the biggest threat to America was Negro unity. They want to keep us divided so that we can't build. But we're gonna get out of here. But before we get out of here, I just want to show you a couple of. I want to show you a couple of things because when we talk about DEI, I want to show you a couple of people that were accused of being DEI hires. Okay, so let's start with the mayor of LA. That's out in your way, Ms. Blackie Hollywood. She was accused of being a DEI hire.
I've worked with Mayor. I've worked with Mayor Karen Bass. She is brilliant. Brilliant.
Well, this lady has health science. She has a BS in health science. She's a doctor of medicine, and she's a community organizer. She was a California State Assembly, U.S. Congress, and she was accused of being a what?
DEI hire.
And then you got Ketanji Brown Jackson, who was also accused of being a DEI hire. She graduated magna cum laude from Harvard University and Harvard Law School. She served as a federal judge on the U.S. Court of Appeals for the D.C. Circuit, former vice chair of the U.S. Sentencing Commission, and she was accused of being a what?
DEI hire.
Linda Fagan, who was the first to get fired from Donald Trump. She was an admiral in the U.S. Coast Guard. She's a white woman. She has a BS in government. She has a master's in national security and strategic studies. She's a graduate degree from Naval War College. First woman to serve as vice commandant, experience in maritime law enforcement. And guess what she was accused of? Being a DEI hire. And then the brother, we got a brother up in here. He was a Secretary of Defense, and he was accused of being a DEI hire. He's a retired 4-star Army general, former commander of the U.S. Central Command, holds a Master of Arts in Counselor Education from Auburn University and a Master's of Business Management from Webster University. And he was accused of being what?
A
DEI hire.
Well, you know what, Constance? Can we just take a breath for a second? I just want to say that do you notice what so every Black person in the office or, in these public spaces working who are accomplished are going to be associated with being a DEI hire. Like, it's not. Do you notice that that's what it is?
There's a little bit of a commonality there. Yeah. Oh, let me show you the last one.
The queen.
Served as a senator from California, attorney general, holds a Juris Doctorate from the University of California at Hastings College of Law, vice president of the United States, was accused of being a what? DEI
hire. And they said that while she was running for president.
Yeah, she's DEI. Yeah. But look, on the other hand, let me just show you this real quick. I just show you this, right, then we're gonna get out of here, okay? Let me show you this real quick. So let's talk about Trump's former cabinet, because he hasn't finished putting his cabinet together. Okay, so let's talk about let's first go with Betty DeVos. She's a billionaire philanthropist. He nominated her. He made her the Secretary of Education. She has absolutely no experience in public school education.
None.
Let's look at Rex Tillerson, Secretary of State. He was the CEO of Exxon. No experience in foreign policy or diplomacy.
Because what does it matter? He reads.
He's a billionaire. Let's also look at Wilbur Ross. He was the Secretary of Commerce. He's a billionaire investor. No experience managing a government agency or commerce policy. But guess what? He was a Secretary of Commerce. And then finally, this one always makes me laugh. We have Ben Carson, Secretary of HUD. No experience in housing or urban development, but he was a Secretary of HUD. Do you see
the pattern?
Listen, the days of having to be qualified to get anything are over, except for if you're Black, of course. But I think that, first of all, Trump presidency is an example enough that you ain't got to be qualified to get a job, right? Kim Kardashian is trying to be a lawyer without going to traditional law school because of a California law. So basically, whichever way is easiest for you to go get it, is basically what's going on.
Yeah. So I want you guys, based upon the conversation, I need some solutions, y'all, because, it's very disheartening. What we see here that's happening is blatant in our faces. Like there's not even any hiding it. At least when we had a Democratic presidency, we knew they wasn't doing shit for Black people, but they hid the shit real good. Now ain't no hiding it. So now that we know So there's no mistake about what's going on. What is the solution? I'm gonna start with you, Athena. What's the solution?
The solution is always going to be ourselves. No one is coming to save us. There is no savior. A president was not ever going to make you rich, whether it was going to be a Democratic one or a Republican one. The Democrats were in there the last 4 years, and what did they pass down for us? I'm still trying to think. I'm still trying to think about that, right? So that was specific to us. And like I said, they could have, on the last week signed a couple things on the way out if they really wanted to, throw us an alley hoop. That did not happen. That did not happen. So the solution is going to be us really getting ourselves together, especially financially, because of everything that is going on with the economy, with inflation, with AI. So speaking of AI, what I think will be good for us to do is to definitely focus on that. And I am leading a training tomorrow at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time at the Fly Nubian Money Club. So make sure your face is in the place.
I'm gonna be there.
Yes, and you sign up for the flynubianmoneyclub.com. Especially if it's your first time user, there's a free trial still going on. You can see my training. You'll have access to our other queen, Constance's training, and Lala as well. And I will walk you through idea to income and the things that you can do to create your own revenue streams using the power of AI, because that's going to be a solution for us as well. So
where can they find you, Athena?
What?
Where can they find you?
You guys can find me at elevatewithathena.com. Go to that link. You can find all my offerings there, my website, social media, and my podcast. Everything is at that link that I'm doing.
Thank you. I know you got to go, so we're going to let you go, but I'm going to let Miss Tiara tell her. Thank you. Listen, this girl was on fire on Dr. Boyce's show this morning. I was like, oh, we got to bring her on here to engage in dialogue with us, because she was on there. She wasn't.
I know. I resurrected somebody. I know. I was doing a sermon.
Hallelujah.
He was on there talking that shit. I was like, sis, come holla at me and Tiara, because you was on there talking that shit today, girl. But tomorrow I'm gonna be on her training. I'm gonna be listening, and I'm gonna be taking notes, copious notes, and I'm going to be most of all implementing, because everything we try to teach you is we want you to be not just hearers of the word, but what? Doers of the word.
I need to find
all right, Miss Athena. All right. We about to
Bye.
get up out here. Bye, baby. Tiara. All right, what's the solution, boo?
It's stressful, right? When I think about these solutions, I was really just thinking about, what we have to. There's so much that we have to come against, and I'm stuttering because there is like this hill that we have to climb. But without saying that we need to be you do for ourselves and unify and all of that, things that we already know. I just think we need to be a little bit more mindful and looking around at the things that we're currently paying attention to. What things are you paying attention to? Where are you vibrating? Like, where are we, how are you spending your days, your hours? What are you investing your time and your money into? Like, what does that really look like right at this moment? And how can we just start to shift those things, like making those simple, small shifts in our lives to make our lives better, to plan for the future, to think about the long game. Constance, it's just difficult to I don't know if we use the internet, and how do we have this like list, where all Black people can talk and nobody else knows that we're talking? Do we do that through the internet? Do we do it like, how do we do it? Like, y'all email me and I'm gonna email Constance, and then you email your like, how can we have this underground railroad kind of communication where we understand what's happening, like how to go about it, how we're going to come together? I just keep thinking about how those women, the AKAs, and were able to rally. I think about Kamala's campaign.
Yeah, 40,000.
And I think about how fast we were able to come. Like, when Black people have a common goal, we kill it when we know what we're doing. And that's what I mean about being communicative and understand, like, okay, sis, we gotta come. Like, everybody came out, was like, what we gotta do. and everybody hopped on those lives,
Got
even if they
information.
weren't AKAs, and made donations, raised I mean, what was the final number? Did
I
they
don't
came up with
remember.
$1 billion
Yeah, it
for
was a lot
Kamala.
of money. It
They
was a
came up with
lot
$1
of money.
billion for Kamala, and we came up with a lot of that, Black people. So how can we do that in our community? If we had that same energy and put it in our own communities, bought up space, real estate in our own communities with that same strategy, like,
Yeah.
how can we get the message out, like, this is what we're doing?
Yeah.
I guess that's my question to you, Constance. This is what we're doing, and we all say that's what we're going to do.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to get everybody on. I think because we have so many different issues within our community, it's hard to get everybody on one single thing, because it's like, well, we got this present issue and we got this present issue, and it's really hard. But I think the biggest thing that is, we can't wait for a celebrity, because I know people say, well, what about the celebrities? What about the Black churches? We can't wait for those people to do anything.
Yeah.
We got to do them ourselves. It's like eating the elephant. How do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. So it's those small efforts that we make in our communities. It's the thing we do with each other. It's the coming on here. It's the putting your business in the chat. So if you have a business, if you have a product or a service, put it in the chat. And that way we can work with each other, and we can come together, and we can patronize each other's businesses. That way we are patronizing Black owned businesses. I have a group on Facebook called My Wealth Roadmap. Join My Wealth Roadmap. Put your business in there so that we can commune. But it's those small things. It's what we do. You know, that's the reason why I work with Black women, is because Black women, you know, the African proverb, when you teach a man, you teach an individual. When you teach a woman, you teach a nation. Men too, y'all doing y'all thing. But for me, my contribution to closing the wealth gap is through Black women. And so I think if when you teach somebody got to teach somebody else, and then that person teaches somebody else. And being on this, you know, I was talking to a lady, I was interviewing a lady for Net7 right before I got on here, and she was telling me all the things that she had invested in. And I said, sis, you're a mile ahead of the game, because a lot of people want to do that and invest in themselves. You know, you're watching me on here, and you're investing in Dr. Boyce's this, and you're taking this training, and you're doing that. A lot of people, they want the benefits, they want to get rich, but they don't want to invest in themselves. They want to go to heaven, but nobody wants to die to get there. Everybody just wants it. It's the work we got to put in to get it.
Here's the question though, Constance. I hear you, sis, but we were able to come when we found out that Kamala was running and she had been given the nomination. The very next day, we were on the lives.
Yeah, we
so
were.
even I don't even know if it's
We
for real. Is it the
We need a common goal.
do we need a common goal? But how do we get it on that level where it's like we understood the assignment immediately? Oh, here's this Black Indian woman that needs to be elected. Go. She's an AKA. She went to Howard. She had all the things. Let's make this how do we do that right now, y'all? And this is if y'all got answers in the chat, please let me know. But is there a press release? I mean, I have a degree in public relations. Do I need to what do I need to do? Do I need to send a PR email across the wire to like what needs to happen so we can
I think somebody with some influence needs to come and say, hey, we're going to have a Zoom call, and we're going to, you know what I mean? Maybe Kamala needs to come out there and say, we need to fight against Trump, and here is the agenda. And I think Black people would come together and say, okay, let's put our money where our mouth is. Do you remember when we start getting them text messages? There's a Zoom call tomorrow. Get on a Zoom. Everybody's, all my girlfriends is texting. I'm getting this. I'm like, what the hell's going on? I remember I was at a barbecue, and I'm like, what's this thing with Kamala? What's going on? And everybody was just everybody was on code. So maybe somebody with some power and influence could say, hey, this is the plan, and this is what we need to do. But so far, nobody's come up with a big picture plan. But I do think that there are the small things that we can do, y'all, today in our communities. Because here's the thing, we got to lead with love. And I think a lot, and we've been so destroyed, psychologically over the years. We still have post-traumatic slave syndrome in our DNA. That's a thing. And so we're still dealing with this. Tiara, we were slaves longer than we've been free. We've only really been free from this oppressive nature for the last 50 years. We were in bondage for 400 years. So we have to get that washed out of our system, right?
I'm like, the 50 years is up for debate, but go ahead, sis. I hear you.
Right. You're damn right about that. You're damn right about that. So when you think about it, it's like, okay, so what do? We got to shift our mindset. We got to lead with love. We got to start loving each other. We got to start wanting the best for each other. We got to stop being jealous of each other. We got to stop being crabs in the barrel. I don't I'm not jealous of no black person.
No.
I am not a gatekeeper because I know, I understand that what God has for me is for me. Can nobody take that away? And once we get that in our minds, that what God has for you is for you, then you won't gatekeep. Then you will give. Then you will share. You will pour into other people. But we got to shift that mindset. We got to start thinking differently about how we interact with one another and how we go out of our way to do for each other.
Yeah.
And it don't even have to be a podcast. It don't got to be the Net 7. It could be you talking to your cousin, your auntie, your mom and them and saying, hey, look, check this out here. Or, like somebody said, I be sharing your stuff with my people because you be making some sense. Yeah. Share our shit with your people because we be making some sense.
Yes. Listen, join Fly Nubian Money Club because I am committed to helping you find. Listen, bringing in top experts every other week, y'all, to get your money right? To make sure that you have the mindset to go forward. And you're right, between Net Collective and Fly Nubian Money Club and the Fly Nubian Money podcast, right? Every day, Monday through Friday, I'm like, what can I teach Black people today that will further them? That is literally what I wake up saying every morning. We have this space and we have this opportunity to teach. How can I make it? How can I impact in a way that is powerful and strong? We're not gonna get on and gossip and talk about things that don't matter. We're just gonna get on and hit it. And the sisters show up every day. Every day they come. Constance, am I pointing it right? Constance comes and brings so much knowledge, y'all. If y'all don't watch the Fly Nubian Money Club, or y'all don't watch Fly Nubian Money.
It's coming on in about 45 minutes. And I know you got to go because you got to get on today. But listen, the thing that I love about the Fly Nubian Money is that you're right. So Tiara is the producer of Fly Nubian Money, and I appreciate you just including me in there because it's great. But what you guys don't understand is y'all watch us, get on there and talk shit or pontificate ad nauseum about whatever. But what you don't know is the amount of work and the effort that goes into producing this show. And Tiara be up at night, just like she said, mulling over what can I do to bring value to our audience, to Black people, that's going to lift, that's going to engage, that's going to inspire us to take action. And that's what I love about what we do on the Fly Nubian Money. And I'm just honored to be a part of it. Somebody was like, how did you get on there? I was like, I don't know. I just be talking shit. They was like, we want somebody to talk shit to be on there too. So they got me. Yeah. But it's an amazing place and space. And you have all these women we come from all different places. And we just allow each other the opportunity to share opinions and share dialogue. And it's great. So it's coming on in 40 minutes. And I know Tiara got to get off and she got to get prepared for that. But y'all, that right there, continue watching these things, continue sharing. Also, I have the Grow Your Money Club. See, when we come live, I'm talking, this is the Grow Your Money podcast, but I do have the Grow Your Money Club. I have a 12-month program that helps you go from building your foundation, building your business, getting your credit together, investing, and then diversifying your portfolio. So you go through this journey of trainings with me where I help you to go from what do I do to now I'm making money. Yeah. So if you're interested, go to growyourmoney.club and there we go. Go to growyourmoney.club and sign up. It's only $97 a month and you'll get an extensive amount of training. So between all of the things that we have here, you got everything that you need. And if you're interested in coaching with me, I do one-on-one coaching for everybody, not just Black women, but that's for everybody. So if there's something that you need that you need help with in your business, I do one-on-one coaching as well. And again, remember, Net 7 Collective, I actually have a interview in about 10 minutes, but next week we start our new cohort, and this is for Black women from all over the country. Any final things you want to say before we get up out of here, Tiara?
Black people, I love you and I want the best for you. I want you to be great. I know we talked a lot about what's real and what's facts, because I know people were saying that we were fear mongering, but I think we were just stating the obvious of what was happening, looking around and saying, okay, so what does this mean for us? There's so many games being played. There's so many chips being put in place. I believe that US TikTok is already sold. I feel like Zuckerberg already owns it. There's so many things happening when you look around. So many games being played, and we don't want to be pawns anymore. We don't want to be on the losing end every single time. Constance always says, like, at this point, all the things that are bad we're number one in, and all the things that were good we're always lingering at the bottom. And so I just, take the opportunity, join Fly Nubian Money. If you can't come to the podcast, join the clubs, join our support what we're doing, because at the end of the day, we really just want we just really want the best for you. So that's really it. Come
That's
see
why
me.
we come here. We ain't coming here to talk shit. We come here because we really want the best for you. We
I mean,
love Black people.
we do come here to talk shit, but we definitely love Black people. So,
We love Black people.
I would just say that, y'all. I'm a mull over. I'm gonna try to figure out how to get that AKA effect. I don't know. I went to Rush, all the
You can
AKAs
mobilize.
here. I
You
went
can
to Rush. They mobilized. Listen, these organizations mobilized. I went to Rush and I just didn't like that I couldn't touch the pink punch. I couldn't drink the pink. The hazing started early. Like, don't touch the pink cookies.
Girl,
Don't
you
do
can
this.
pledge grad chapter. Pledge grad chapter.
I mean, if it's gonna make Black people come in the room and donate money so we can advance Black wealth, I'll pledge AKA. I'll
Boom.
marry you. Look,
Boom.
I'll do it.
I'll marry you.
I'll do it.
I want to leave you guys with this again from Octavia Butler. She said, choose your leaders with wisdom and forethought. To be led by a coward is to be controlled by all the coward fears. To be led by a fool is to be led by the opportunists who control the fool. Y'all, we'll see you on Monday. Same time, same bat channel.